Welcome to Econ with Wes. In this video, I am going to explain the difference between short-run economic growth and long-run economic growth. Okay, so let's explore the difference between long-run economic growth and short-run economic growth. Now, this is a concept that students can often struggle with, okay? But all we need to really understand here is that long-run economic growth is when there is an increase in the potential output. The potential output, okay? So here we are looking at what the output would be if all of the factors of production were fully utilized, okay? So if an economy fully utilized all of the available factors of production, then that will give us the potential output. And if there was an increase in the potential output, that means long-run economic growth occurs, okay? And on a PPC, that is illustrated by an increase, an outward shift of the PPC curve from PPC to PPC1. Okay, so what about short-run economic growth? Short-run economic growth. Now, short-run economic growth occurs when there's an increase in the actual output within an economy, an actual output. Okay, so for an example, when we go over to macro, it would be an increase in actual GDP. GDP is a measure of output, okay? But for the purpose of this video, I will show you what that looks like on a PPC diagram, okay? So let's just really simplify the quantity and the quality of the factors of production available for this economy, okay? And let's just say, for argument's sake, that we have a population of 10 and they are all of a working age. So therefore we have 10 units of labor available. Now these are available, they live within the economy. Okay, let's just say 5 of those units of labor are currently employed. They're currently working, okay? So let's just put here point A, and point A is the output when 5 units of labor is being employed, okay? So we can see that they could so therefore the 5 units of labor, let's say they make 20 board games and they make 15 computer games, okay? Here, the point between A and the PPC, that represents the spare capacity of resources, the spare capacity of resources. So in this example, we've got 5 units of labor that are not currently employed. So the spare capacity is 5, okay, 5 units of labor. Now, if those 5 units of labor was employed, then the economy would be producing on the PPC. And if that was the case, if all of the available factors of production were being utilized, then the actual and the potential output would be at the same point. Okay? Now let's say that two of the 5 units of labor that are not currently working get a job. Okay? So if they get a job, then the actual output would increase because we've now got 2 more employees actually producing products, okay? So we could say that the actual number of board games increases from 20 to 22 and the number of computer games that's produced within an economy increases from 15 to 20. Well, this illustrates an increase in actual output. Therefore, this illustrates short-run economic growth, okay? Short-run economic growth because the actual number of board games and computer games has increased. Now, currently then, we have 7 units of labour in work at point B, but we still have a spare capacity of 3 units of labour, okay, 3 units of labour that are currently unemployed. So they are considered spare capacity. Okay, now let's say 5 people migrate into the economy, okay? So we've got 5 people joining the economy from an overseas economy. They've migrated into our economy. So that means the number of available units of labour has increased from 10 to 15. 5 people have moved to our country, to our economy. Therefore, we have more units of labour available. We have more factors of production available. So this would result in an increase in the PPC from PPC to PPC1, and this illustrates long-run economic growth. Now, let's just say that these 5 people, they currently don't have a job. They don't have a job when they first join. Okay, so therefore, the spare capacity, we are still at point B within the economy. Okay, we are still at point B with 7 people working. Okay, 12 people working. So we had 12 people working and 3 people spare. So we had a spare capacity of 3. 5 people have just joined the economy but don't have a job yet. So now we have 8 units of labour that are unemployed. So the difference between point B and the new PPC, PPC1, is the spare capacity of 8 units of labour. Okay. Now, if all 8 of those employees, units of labour that are not employed, do go and get a job, then all 15 units of labour available are fully employed. So at that point, the economy would be producing on the PPC. And therefore, it would have achieved both short-run economic growth and, the short-run economic growth, because the actual economic growth has increased and is now at the same point as the potential economic growth. Okay, so just to clarify, long-run economic growth is measured by an increase in the potential output, and short-run economic growth occurs when the actual output increases. I hope you now fully understand what can be a very confusing concept in economics, and that is the difference between short-run economic growth and long-run economic growth. If you found that video interesting, please like and subscribe to this channel. Look out for future videos, and thank you for watching.